So.
I've already started thinking it. You just sent me your first one.
Hey, morning, Clint.
No, he had his appointment.
Yeah,
So,
he couldn't make it.
yeah. Good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and get going. This is our regular staff meeting for Monday, March 2nd. Holy cow. We will start with our warrant review and approval. Misty, do we have anything this morning? Oh, no? Okay. Do we have any questions on page 406? 206.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I had a question for Dr. Berg, but also I know there was a second warrant that he wanted to discuss a little bit about from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, rapid DNA.
Mhm.
And then my question will be just on the battery, just what that battery was for. So could you give us a little information on the battery, what that was for, and then talk about the rapid DNA?
Morning, Madam Chair, Kishman. The battery is, we had to replace the striker battery for one of the cots, and it's, they're not cheap, they're lithium. And the next thing we'll be trying to purchase is a charger for it, because our charger is falling apart too, so. But that was the replacement for it. And we got almost 4 years out of it. So that's pretty good. Next question. You were asking about the Larimer County.
Yeah.
Crime lab. Okay. That's DNA test that we ordered for a case that we had recovered human remains. And we had them perform a rapid DNA test. And results came back 99% identifiable.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, and I see it's burning, why didn't we use the state? We did. We sent 2 samples, one to Larimer County, and one to the state. I'm still waiting for the state. So the question is, how long do you want to keep a family waiting to find out the results of who individuals? Technology is a little expensive, so
Yeah.
we just have to, just like AI is coming up and everything. So this new technology is not cheap. And when I was at the national meeting, there's a lab in Utah that said that they can do it in 1 day. So I'm not going to reach out too fast to them.
Yeah.
But Larimer County was very, very good at doing this. We had it in 13 days. So, any questions?
Any other questions for Dr. Bird? Okay, anything else on page 2? Page 3? Page 4? Page 5? And the totals on 6? And then the airport.
I
Yeah.
did have a question on page 4.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I got too far ahead of you.
Okay. Takes me back. Grant, MasterCard, Creative Instinct, K9, KAI trading cards. I guess I'm wondering what's the, I did not see an invoice to understand. I guess I didn't understand the invoice as to what it pertained to and what dog and why we're doing trading cards.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
it's not for emergency management, so I'm not sure if it's for the.
Yeah, I think it was for, yeah,
So
sheriffs.
I'm unaware.
I guess I'll reach out to Levi and ask him there. Hey, Tom,
Anything on 5, Commissioner Ersey?
Those are, I'm sorry.
Okay. We were to the airport. Any questions on the airport? If we're good, I would look for a motion to approve the warrants as presented.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the warrants as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Item 3 is to consider the payroll
Madam
distribution.
Chair,
Yeah, no, sorry.
if you're done with that, I have a comment for you.
Yes, please.
So at the very end, after airport, you'll see that we provided you the payroll totals. As you know, those payroll and payroll liabilities were approved already. But once we know the actuals, we're still going to let you know what those actuals are. And so that's what that last page is. So if you go past airport, you'll see a 1-page. Keep going.
He's on it.
Oh, is he on?
Yep, he's on it.
So you'll see law enforcement and monthly up above, and then you'll see airport. So I just want you to know you still see the actuals.
Yeah. Great, thank you for adding that. Do we have, Deb's not here, I'm assuming we don't have anything to change for payroll distribution since we don't, have an amount looking forward, but I would look for a motion for payroll for March.
Madam Chair. Yes, Commissioner Herman, to authorize the release of monies in order for the county clerk to complete payroll distributions for the month of March 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Staff and elected reports. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Reed, County Planner. Not a lot to report here. We got about half a dozen different applications for subdivisions in some form or fashion, working their way through the process. With interests west and northwest of Big War, about 341 acres, looking at a conservation subdivision out there, like 16 lots. So we'll see where that one goes. So when they do a conservation development, 70% of that is to be in some form it's not developed. And so if they did 340 acres, they'd probably look at 230 acres in some conservation. There's existing pivot irrigation on there and some pretty significant riparian areas. So looking to assure that those areas are kept as in those natural agricultural states. So kind of a big area, but anyway, we'll see where it ends. The city is considering their transportation plan that you folks heard last week or 2 weeks ago. So that's on their docket, I see, for tonight. So some of that. So anyway, yeah, that's all I have. Any questions to try to answer.
Any questions for Mark?
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mark.
Thanks.
Misty. You introduced our guest. Good morning.
Morning.
You want to come up and give us your name and share a little bit?
My name is Dayton Pitchma, and I work downstairs as a title clerk. And I'm thinking about moving up to work with Misty and Carrie in the.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Just new face in the elections office this morning, so. All right. Ida?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Commissioners, Ida Shunt Thompson, County Clerk. I did have a vacancy upstairs, the deputy clerk who was the reviewer for the auditors for AP and payroll, marriage licenses, et cetera, and the support for the remainder of the staff that are upstairs for Misty and Deb and Carrie, I should say, for elections, budget and administration. So with that resignation, which is effective March 13th, that employee had moved up from part-time to full-time and decided they want to go back to part-time. So I do have a full-time vacancy. Dayton is interested in moving up internally. And then that would create a vacancy for Dayton's position downstairs. So I'm asking the board to allow me to then fill the position that Dayton would be vacating, which is a deputy clerk position. So I have one vacancy, it's just kind of sliding up, if you will. So that is my request today. And looking ahead to March 13th, this would be effective till then, but that's just coming around the corner, so.
So you did like an identical position to Dayton's, no
Yes.
change in, so, okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
So that is my request today and moving forward.
I would look for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we allow Clerk Thompson to refill the vacated position.
Second,
I'll second it.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
discussion.
Clerk Thompson. This is just, you're just filling in just a vacancy 100%. It's not, would there be a possibility of doing like another part-time or something like that? Or is it definitely warranting a full-time?
It's definitely warranting a full-time position downstairs, yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Right, sorry, let me get my, Katie. Heidi?
Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce you to our new staff nurse.
Okay.
We were able to fill the open state position. So this is Felicia. She comes all the way to us from Sheridan and is excited about sharing the wealth of knowledge that she has.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
It's a little easier when you don't have to pack the house up.
Yeah.
Happy to have you on board. Thanks. Dr. Bird?
Morning again. Just a little update. I don't know if you've been tracking well, I'm pretty sure you have, been watching some of the bills that have been going through the legislature. One of concern and affects a lot of us is the Kratom bill. And that has passed in the House. So all we need is the governor's signature and it will be law. So that material will be pulled probably throughout the state. It would be illegal to have it for distribution.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you. Jesse?
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Robert?
Nothing this morning.
Eric? Amy?
Madam Chair, Amy Long, Library Director. Just wanted to give an update on the renovation project. The Fulmar project is out to bid right now. That bid is open, as well as the furniture procurement portion of the project. The branches are finishing up, should be done by the end of March, and their furniture will be delayed based on that package as soon as the procurement is completed or selected. And the vendor should be selected by March 25th. So that's what the board needs to approve the bid acceptance. Additionally, we currently have the elevator out at the library. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware we're seeking repairs on that. So there'll be more news on that soon. And lastly, I just wanted to share an update on staffing. We are transferring a full-time librarian from the Youth Services Department over to the Wyoming room because she is a talented cataloger and very good at data management, as well as a Sheridan native. She has a definite passion for that. And so that's going to allow us to add more staffing resources over there. And we will be hiring a youth services librarian to replace her in that youth department. So I just wanted to give you guys an update.
Great. Any questions for Amy? No. Thank you, Amy. Kelly? Kenny? Ken? Okay. Clint? Nope. Cameron?
Commissioners, good morning. 2 years ago, we received a grant from the State Forestry Department. It's a CAFA grant, so community assistance funding on adjacent lands. It's for fuel mitigation in the Little Bighorn Canyon. That project wrapped up this a month ago, and when we went to close out the grant, we had spent 80,000 out of the 267,000 that was authorized for the project. The state forestry came back and said, please don't close out the grant just yet. They are asking us to come up with a couple more projects to utilize the funds rather than returning them the money. So I'm just giving you a heads up that the state forestry is working with Chris Thomas to come up with a couple projects in the Story Red Grade area. And if they are in agreement with those projects, we would come back with an amendment to that grant to add those extra projects. The original project itself went through May 15, 2028, so there is time. It's just a matter they would clean up the grant, so just a heads up.
Okay.
And I have nothing else.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Jennings, that I know of this morning, that's it, okay? Commissioner Archie?
No, line item will come up later. Yeah.
Okay. Story?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
I just had a couple things, and Amy had touched on the elevator. The library will be coming to us with a request to help them with those costs. So more to, as Amy said, more to come on that one. And then I know Kenny had chatted with everyone just with schedules last week. I wasn't able to catch you guys in the office last week, but I didn't know if anybody had any questions about moving Kenny over to under the commissioners. I know that Kenny had spoken with everybody, but just want to see. Okay. Okay. That's all I had, so we'll move on to the discussion about changing the court order drug and alcohol testing location. Mike?
Madam Chair. Some time ago, actually at the start of when I was placed on that board of juvenile justice, it became apparent and aware that juvenile justice was kind of struggling with the court-ordered drug and alcohol testing, as well as there's some programs that you can actually sign up for, but they were having trouble with managing it because juvenile justice is actually, I think, they're reducing their staff right now. And so we kicked it around and we talked to other individuals throughout the county as to who would be willing to maybe step up and take this on. And suggestion was that the coroner's office might be interested in it. And I reached out to Dr. Bird, and he is interested in it. And in fact, he actually, in talking with him, he said, I'd be willing to do this, but I want to make sure that it goes before the board and that the county commission is, we just have to have it as a item of discussion. There's no real action that needs to be taking place. All we're doing is just moving the testing from juvenile justice down to the coroner's office. It's not, I don't think it requires any kind of a motion or anything like that, but we all felt that everybody needed to weigh in on it, so I'll leave it open for you. I think that we'll have better luck with it down there personally. I really do. I think it's a little better suited for it, and it gives something more for the coroner's office to do. So.
Okay. Do you have any comments for us?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'm Dan Lindley. I'm the administrator of the Justice Office, which is right next door. Commissioner Arzi represents the county in serving on that. We're governed under a joint powers board. So I've kind of always considered that we have three basic categories of services and programs that we provide. One of them is for our juvenile participants. Those are individuals that are not involved in juvenile court, which tend to go to DFS and are provided services from them. But we have plenty out of circuit court, municipal court that we work with and aim to assist. Our second program is our adult treatment court program. Formerly the program, it's like Prince, the program formerly referred to as drug court. I prefer to, we kind of prefer that as treatment court now at that point. But these programs have been in place for basically 25 plus years now at this point. So those are the two main programs that we serve the individuals and the participants directly as ordered from the courts. The third one that Commissioner Arzi referred to is this court-ordered random testing that mostly the circuit court orders participants from, some out of district court also for that. So the role of that program is to have some accountability for and some assurance for drug screening, drug and alcohol screening testing while an individual or a defendant is on bond and their case is proceeding, or much less common, but can also happen, is they're placed on unsupervised probation and all the court wants them to do is occasional random testing. We've been doing this service for a lot of years. We have had VOA provided this service for a period of time, but for the past several years, we've been doing that. As Commissioner Arzi mentioned, one thing I was kind of anticipating without it becoming a problem later down the line is that I'll be done in my position imminently, and we have another staff member that is looking to do the same in a couple of months or so. Based on our numbers, based on our budget, we're not looking at replacing those positions. So we're going most recently from about 6.5 staff down to 4. And a few years before that, we were up at 9. So our programming has changed quite a bit, and our staffing as things change with trends and the need for that. So we have been able to provide this service, and basically we've really been able to do it just because we've had the staff to all pitch in addition to their regular duties, and share that extra duty of these tests that we do, mostly in the form of urine analysis for these other individuals. I had kind of a little bit of anxiety and concern about the office in a couple of months being able to continue with that service in kind of with the attention that it needs and that which is awfully important. So that's where my concern lay. I did inform the board. Mr. Arzi has certainly been helpful in kind of problem solving some of this. We had a discussion with Ms. Bennett that certainly the county attorney's office is a big player in this and affected by it. So it's a program that's beneficial to the community. It's just a challenge at times to provide. There's never been a contract that we've had with it or anything. So another one of the issues that we've had basically is that because it hasn't been a huge burden on us, we've been able to absorb some of the expenses and costs, and we haven't had to really be hard-nosed about getting those payments from participants. to do it and have kind of eaten a lot of those costs, and we're not really in that position any longer to do that. So we're now making sure that we have the payment, or we let them know they can't be tested for that. So I did meet with Dr. Bird a couple of times. He was interested. Obviously, there's always a little bit of trying to figure out, is this the right thing to do? Ms. Bennett did ask me when we were discussing these, she's like, well, do you want it to stay in your office, or would you prefer to go somewhere else? And I hadn't really considered that a whole lot. And my thinking is basically, it doesn't matter to me a whole lot where it is, as long as it can be done right and there's a way to move forward with it and that sort of thing. So we have that opportunity. I think with, Dr. Bird, I think definitely understands what's involved and if that's a good move, I would fully support that. And he'd have certainly his office and department would have all of our support in transitioning that over.
What are those numbers, I guess, monthly? Is
The
it?
numbers for participants in that program tend to be, I would say, anywhere from 50 to 90 individuals at a time. So there is some fluctuation with that. I would say on a weekly basis, I think we approximated over the past couple of years, maybe 35 tests we're doing a week or so with that. Ideally, for a urine analysis, a staff member is going into the restroom with the individual. It's a bit time consuming, obviously, depending on how quickly things happen and that sort of thing. So, but I did we have one female staff now. She has other obligations. I did let the judges and the county attorney's office know at this moment, I couldn't guarantee that we can have supervised urine analysis. That means they're going in without a staff member. That's not an ideal situation to have for forensic testing, obviously. But I wanted to be transparent about it and let folks know what the situation was.
Is there any training or certification for that?
There is, I guess the short answer on that is no, but there's certainly protocols and training which need to be in place, best practices for that sort of thing. There are a lot of testing companies and associations that offer that, but there's nothing that's required to be able to do it. You just want to make sure that you have, again, your policies and protocols in place and that you're training staff internally. So there's obviously a lot of things to be aware of. You're providing an important service and you're wanting to give very accurate information back to the county attorney's office and to the courts. And so nothing official, but very, very much so, I would say otherwise. Most of it that can certainly be done on site in terms of training and that sort of thing.
So, and Dr. Bird, you had a chance to chat with your staff and they're all okay doing this work?
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, just kind of following off of what you were asking about the training standards. Is your office planning to work with Dr. Bird's office to?
Absolutely. I mean, I think in any manner, I don't think that's an issue whatsoever for that. We can, and even after it's taken place, we're available for that. But that issue in itself, I don't think is going to be at all problematic. I would foresee if this happens that it would make sense for us to finish out the clients that we have in this program so that Dr. Bird's office isn't inundated with a huge amount and he and his staff can just kind of have a soft opening, so to speak, and then we can kind of troubleshoot or help assist with any of those. But we can go to his place, he can come to ours to see what we're doing. I think is a non-issue.
And then I guess folks that are doing those tests are covering the costs of any of the, so I'm just wondering about budget wise and materials needed for that.
Yeah, that's the idea. We've never had this, we've always kind of approached this as a standalone program for that, and we haven't ever had budget specifically that we've ascertained for that. And because of that, we're trying to have, ideally, we're looking for kind of a self-sustaining sort of program with that. It would be up to Dr. Bird's office, but again, we got to a point, and I think it would be worthy to continue it on, that we just had to inform the stakeholders that it's like, we just can't do this as a courtesy anymore at no expense. But, you know, a lot of people will have their coffee from Starbucks and can't pay $15 for their UA, which is keeping them out of jail. So just, not to get on a soapbox too much here, but just saying. But so what we've had up to this point was $15 for each UA. At a high level, they're doing 3 to 5 a month, to give you an idea. So we had said $15 to do this. We have raised that at the first of the year to $30. You look at any company around the state or the country that's doing this, and it's $50, $60, you know, to do it. But maybe not at the same frequency. We do understand people have legitimate hardships with this sort of thing, but also for others, it's just kind of convenient to not have to go in and test for the day. So we are doing $30 now. We do $5 for a breathalyzer. We don't have very many breathalyzers because the sheriff's office does the 24/7 breathalyzer program, which captures most of those and is a very, I think, effective and appropriate program for the majority of those. The only other expense then is if we need to send a sample in for confirmation. That's an additional $30 that's required for that. That sample has to be mailed out, comes back. If we get a confirmation for that, then we charge an additional $30.
Any questions?
Sure. I understand that there's maybe been some casual conversations with my boss, but I haven't looked at this from my client's perspective and the legal aspects and liabilities of that. So I will do so with Dr. Bird and make sure that we're not creating any legal problems.
Thank you.
And something that we never did, which I think would be appropriate, I think just because we always communicated closely in that, but I certainly think it would be appropriate at the minimum to kind of have an MOU with, you know, the courts, with the county attorney's office, just in terms of, this is what we're saying we're doing, you know, this is what we want from you, this is what we'll provide to you, that sort of thing, without it being a, you know, hard and fast contract or anything like that.
Remind me your official retirement date, Dan.
It's, well, I'm saying it's a Good Friday, so that's April 3rd.
Okay, right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. And I'll get with Misty or whomever and would like to get on your agenda in another week or 2 weeks. And I'll introduce Dane and talk about just kind of that transition and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Questions?
I have.
Oh,
Commissioners, just my prior job as a police officer, since the sheriff's not here to address any of this, I know personally, we always had them at our department. I was, you know, shocking, but, you know, people usually in drug court aren't well behaved all the time. And I had been in more than one fight with individuals who are caught cheating UAs in our department. So, and I know that this has happened here before. So just has that been discussed and considered the legal ramifications of staff members possibly getting in altercations with individuals who could be in drug court. And I don't want to cause any problems with any of our ladies or anything at the coroner's office.
Yeah.
I know the sheriff's department's right there, but still, just something that I don't know if I haven't heard discussed.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Yeah, Commissioner Jennings.
Madam Chair,
Sorry, then, thanks, Claire.
I lean forward too much, sorry. I think since this is obviously kind of moving more towards this way, one of the concerns that I want to make sure is addressed, and I think Dr. Bird can easily address it, is the confidentiality of if you've got a deceased individual in the other room, that making sure that that door is closed and that nobody is accidentally seeing somebody before the family's been notified or any of those things. So just maybe certainly keep that at the forefront of your mind of something that we need to make sure is addressed. But otherwise, I really appreciate everybody trying to problem solve something that obviously needs to be worked on and make sure that we continue. So,
Clerk Thompson?
Couple things, thank you. Edith Shaw Thompson, County Clerk. I just wanted to really thank. Where'd you go?
She's back there.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
Is there- did you-
And I just really wanted to thank you. You've had an outstanding office, and I know how much you did for member of my family last year and how courteous and professional you were with this teenager. And I just really appreciate the work that you've done. It's just been outstanding.
You're very welcome and great staff that I have, which is.
And
helps.
so thank you for that.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Secondly, just with my county clerk hat on, there's very few elected officials that collect a revenue stream and then report that as a monthly statement to the treasurer and I in the statutory process. So just as a reminder, if this moves forward, we'll need to consider the processes for that to happen for collection of this revenue.
thank you. Okay. With that, so more to come. Maybe the MOU, Clint has some things he wants to work on, but good discussion, so thank you all. Renee, I'm sorry, I totally jumped over you earlier.
I have nothing.
Okay. All right, well, we have the STIP presentation at 10. We're a little early, so we might, I don't know if anybody from the public will be joining us at 10. But we'll recess until then, and we'll see everybody back here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I just put like 10 grades.
Are we good, Ida?
Okay, yes,
No,
we
you're
are.
good.
I'm waiting for something to tell me it's moving, but I
Spit it.
so.
All right. Well, we will head back into our meeting, and we've got YDOT with their STIP presentation. Good morning, Mr. Taylor.
Madam Chair, thanks for having us. Make sure I'm speaking into this, right? Sounds like it. Commissioners, appreciate it. Well, we're on our annual STIP tours. It's a little more than an annual. Explain the timing of this a little bit differently. We've done this in the past in the summers, but we were always behind a year for any input and comments that went into our STIP. So now we're doing it in the winter because here in May, the draft STIP will go out from these meetings if we have any input coming and everything. So we time these out a little differently. We do them in the January, February, March timeframe. And you guys are 6 out of 10 of these so far. So one more tonight and then a couple in Gillette the next couple of days and we'll be wrapped up. So. But if you don't know me, I'm Scott Taylor, District Engineer from District 4, YDOT, Northeast Wyoming. What was working camera?
It's not working at all.
I got.
Yeah, we can try it differently.
We had the same sort of thing happening at the County Commissioners Association meeting. We put new batteries in it and it hadn't been turned on.
No, I think this one is.
And it went through like 3 people and like nobody thought to flip it over and be like, yep, turn it on.
Off that one.
Okay. Can you hit the arrow button to see if it'll just advance?
Easiest.
It's. We're having technical difficulties, Mr. Scott.
Okay. Into other places where it's been a lot worse.
Good.
We're not telling anything out here yet.
Lowest state.
I'm not gonna say anything else.
Can you try it again?
There we go.
Sweet.
Thank you. So Northeast Wyoming and top of the Bighorns over South Dakota, all of Sheridan County, half of Johnson County, mostly all of Campbell, and then Crook and Weston, and a little bit of Niobrara if this distance forward. Other introductions, but first I'll just keep wanting to walk away. And for YDOT in the audience here, we got Isaac Finkel, our district construction engineer. Jake Wisna, sitting next to him, our resident engineer here in Sheridan. Michelle Edwards, our district traffic engineer. Laura Dallas, our public relations specialist. Dustin Hockett, our area maintenance supervisor. And Andrew Conrad, our Sheridan area foreman. So, and then there's a picture of her up here, Transportation Commissioner Susan Holmes. Covers Sheridan, Johnson, and Campbell County for District 4. Leadership headquarters, Darren Westby's our director. Our chief engineer is Keith Fulton. And then Mark Hughes is our other transportation commissioner in Crook and Weston counties. Larry Konetsky's our maintenance engineer, couldn't be here today. We have a equipment supervisor of Tim Winslow. Jason Green's our safety officer. Kerry Griffiths our human resources specialist. And then Captain Eric Jorgensen covers District 4, and their boundaries have changed. He covers on the other side of the mountain too, District 5 over there, that area now. I introduced Jake and Dustin and Andrew already. Up on the mountain, Ryan Colby's our maintenance foreman up at Burgess Junction. And then we have a new shop supervisor here in Sheridan, Brian Brownell, and Lieutenant Louis Tegdesh that covers this area for Highway Patrol as lieutenant. So YDOT's mission, vision, and values, we have our values: respect, integrity, dedication, and how we get there or get to our mission and vision is through those values there, providing that safe and effective transportation system. Our focus is to recognize, retain, recruit, and secure additional funding and build the brand. By doing this with our strategic objectives, we want to serve our customers, ensure transparency and public engagement, value our team that we have, and develop and maintain those partnerships with such as Sheridan County, appropriately manage our resources, and continue to improve and innovate all the time. System overview statewide: 16,000 lane miles of highway, 6,000 bridges, 42,000 pipe, 800 miles of guardrail, 80,000 signs, and 12,000 miles of fence, roughly. Talking about our budget and projects that we're going to let out to contract in fiscal year 26 statewide, over $400 million. That's both state and federal funding. National average is 68% state, 32% federal, where Wyoming's the opposite of that, of 30% state, 70% federal. And I've been asked before, and the reasoning behind that, it's basically population-based, tax-based too. We don't have the tax base or the population and the formulas that they use to have more state funds than federal, like other surrounding states and the average. So that's exactly why that is right there. We just don't have the state funds. So the federal dollars make up for it. Buying power. With our revenue history, the buying power, the trend is revenue coming in is pretty much flattened out. That's the green line there over the last 10 years. And the red is our buying power with inflation coming in. So the gap keeps getting bigger and bigger there, unfortunately. One good thing, we're going to get about $64 million with the vehicle sales tax coming in, the legislation that was passed a year ago. So that's going to help us out. We are currently $400 million short every year for what we want to do. So this gets us only 340. And I'll talk about how we're going to use that locally here towards the end too, with that vehicle sales tax. That's going to help us out in this area. Local agency funding. Programs that come in. These are all our programs that we utilize and pass through money basically to the local entities, whether it's the counties or the cities. And these are a lot of our programs. The next slide, I'll highlight some of those. The BROS program, Sheridan County is highly active in that. Bridge replacement off system. We got a couple of them going. We just finished one a year ago or so. With the federal highway bill, we're required to do $2.5 million worth of that. And it's about 660,000 discretionary right now is what we're doing. The TAP funds, obviously Sheridan County and the city is highly involved with that too. Almost $5 million required for us to have pass-through money to the local entities. CMAQ, same thing. I know Sheridan County didn't get her this year, but has very utilized that a lot in the past. And that's over $2 million of discretionary money that we're passing through. Commissioner Road Improvement Program, the CRIP. Example of the East Ridge Road is a CRIP program. We've utilized that a lot in Sheridan County, and that's same thing, over $3 million of discretionary. Urban systems, Sheridan County and the city are in on that. There's about 6.3 statewide discretionary funds that go through. And the bridge funding program, enhancements, CSAs, context sensitive amenities. You can see those figures there for how much. The bridge funding program, we were required $6.75 million, and we're actually discretionary putting out funds extra, however you want to say it, of over 23 million. So with all these programs, you can contact me or the local government coordinator, but it's down there on the right, that footnote. They're going to be looked at every year, you know, with our revenue that's coming in, and reviewed every year to see how much and how if we can continue to do these. So just kind of a heads up, you know, we are that 340 some million dollars short, and we just got to review these every year to see what we're going to do. So that's the main point of going through this. The STIP projects, this is our famous, it is kind of a hot topic internally and on our committee, but this is our red-blue map. It's a slide that we haven't had in these presentations in the past. The red roads are let me start over. The blue routes are National Highway System routes, okay? The red are non-National Highway System routes. And so with our revenue coming in, we're probably going to have to start prioritizing how we work on highways, okay? And as you can see, District 4, especially in the northeast part, there's a lot of red there, okay? And these are lower volume roads, right? Obviously, the interstates are the blue, and then the NHS, 59 South, highways over the mountains over here, Sheridan, Johnson County, and then US 16 and 85 over on the other side of the district, and Highway 212 clear up in the far northeast of the NHS. More volume, we're gonna have to start shifting money around, and that could be not only in this district, but statewide. So if there's more blue routes in other districts that need work because of the nature of what we got going on, then that's going to happen. It used to be I'll get the same amount of money every district all the time, but now that's not the case. So they didn't split it evenly. Now they don't now like they used to. So just another kind of awareness thing here. So in our STIP, the State Transportation Improvement Program, what's in that? 6-year plan for highway jobs, 1-year plan for transits, 6-year plan for airport jobs, 1-year plan for the Public Safety Commission, Communications Commission, and a 1-year plan for any capital improvement projects. Like I said, aeronautics, I got to pull this out because I can't read it. There we go. Aeronautics jobs, that supports planning and construction for all approximately 40 public use airports. Emergency communications, that's our wild link towers, capital improvements. We do have over 475 buildings throughout the state that we need to take care of, and try and keep up on that. And then any transit stuff and that's mostly used for the senior center transits in our district. Overview of our budget. That is the estimated amount of available funding for construction jobs each year. That's included in the STIP, federal and state dollars, like I said earlier. Each district is given a budget amount, and that's based on the needs from our asset management systems. Like I said earlier, not equally distributed. Our budget program assigns funding types, whether it's state or federal, to each project, and make sure we spend all the federal dollars. It can have several different funding sources. Project prioritization, we get our inputs continuously throughout the year with our asset management systems and our safety programs and so forth. Any public and stakeholder input, that's this time frame now, January, February, March, where we're coming to you folks such as Sheridan County and the city of Sheridan and utilizing our commissions there for what kind of projects we can insert into our STIP. Have those candidate projects ready. Isaac will be looking at that March to August timeframe. And like I said, the draft STIP will go in May. We look at our candidate projects. He works with our maintenance program and our asset management programs to utilize it. Then in September timeframe, the STIP will go to our Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit, and our Transportation Commission for approval by October 1st, which is our fiscal year. And then we start over and start doing the same thing again for every year. So what's in our document here, Sheridan County, the red is 2026 projects, a lot going on, as you can see there, and the blue is future jobs. There's a lot of work in Sheridan County coming up in the next 6 years. This is what it looks like in the document. It gives a scope or a project number, the scope of the project, where it's at, mile markers, an engineer's estimate. Also in that, it'll list out the dollars being spent on transportation, transit, and aeronautics projects, summarized in there. Our projects coming up. Laura made these really cool. Showed some photos and some Google Earth of what's coming up. So 2026, we're still working on the Ranchester, Montana state line job, year 2 for that 5 miles with 3-mile realignment of the eastbound lane. That's going to be shifted towards the median due to all those slides that are happening continually, that we're continually working on, just like you can see in that photo there. It looks like we're going to start back up April 1, huh, guys? Yep. Good. They've been doing a little bit throughout the winter, though, with some slow pavement and stuff, right? So April 1, switching traffic to 2-way. Okay. Also in 26, we're going to mill and overlay Highway 1416 out of Claremont and between Claremont and Arvada for about $4.6 million and upgrade the ADA through the town of Claremont. The Work Street Bridge replacement here in town, that's a bridge BFP funding project that came out of the federal highway bill. We're paying for 100% of that, and that was that program. 100%, there is no match on that like the Bros is, and that's a $2 million deal that'll be replaced. Bridge replacement out on County Road 140, the Twin Creek Road, that is a Bros project that the county got in on with us, and that's that 90-10 split, 10% funded by the county, 90% funded by us. No?
That's BFP.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It says Bros, but is he right, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give Ken credit then. Okay. All right, then it's 100%. So that's a good deal. East Ridge Road, 2026. It'll be built in 27, but it's going to go to contract in 2026 fiscal year. Of realigning that on the curve over there on the, we call it north end, I guess, $2.8 million. And that's again, and then we'll pave the rest of it. FDR, I think it's FDR and pave, right? So, yeah. That's that CRIP project. 2027, we're gonna mill and overlay at 14 East, the Murphy Gulch section for about 7 million. Also in 27, up on the mountain, 14A, Seasonal Road. We're gonna do a hot in place recycle, which is basically a big train of equipment comes in, the burners, the mills, the pavers, and sits up there on the road and goes through. And we did the same thing out on I-90 a few years ago, but and then you don't have to bring in new aggregates, go to a material source, just chews it up, puts it back down, puts oil in it. So we're gonna redo that whole section in our district there from Burgess on up to the district boundaries. 27, here's a hot one. We're gonna put a signal in Brundage Lane and Bighorn Avenue. I know many of you folks get comments about that. We're splitting that cost with the city because 2 of the legs out of that is ours and 2 of it is the city's. And it's gonna be probably a little over $1 million, but on schedule right now, so. 28th, Decker Road, we have another mill and overlay for $6 million from 1.7 to 8. Some erosion repairs out there, it looks like. So. Also in 28, Coffeen Avenue, so Main Street to Sheridan College is going to be milled and overlaid with an estimated cost of almost $6 million now. And this is also a section where we're going to be utilizing medians and center turn lane from the Wendy's intersection to the south to Brundage. We had a preliminary plans public meeting on that about 5-6 weeks ago now, a month ago, and got our first information out of what the preliminary layouts are. Those are going to be adjusted accordingly. And as we get through the design and the plan sets of that, we'll have more public meetings to show what we've changed from what was proposed and taken public input. And that, I think we're done. We shut that off. Is that right, Laura? The public at the end of the month or so? Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, 29. We're going to mill and overlay Story Fish Hatchery Road for roughly $2 million. Highway 194, it needs it, it's in bad shape. We've been doing a little bit of patching up there with some of our equipment to try and keep up on it.
Scott, can I ask a question
Yes,
about that? Well, you know, and I know that you and I met with some people out there at one point that wanted a walking path along that road and all that stuff. And so this is not going to include anything like that. It's just going to be an overlay and a
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioner, that's correct. No pathway.
Okay.
Yeah, that, in fact, I haven't heard anything on that from that group in 3 or 4 years.
I haven't either, but I think they realized that there wasn't enough right away there to do it is basically what the situation was.
Yeah, there isn't the room
Yeah,
for the footprint that would take
yeah,
to meet ADA requirements. Yeah, so
yeah.
I don't think it's real feasible, but it's kind of lost
I think
momentum.
we ever did, but they did when they were, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
2030, Highway 14, Steamboat to Dayton. We're going to mill and overlay that for almost $7 million. Mile marker 71 to 77, coming down. So 2030, on Highway 87, Bighorn Y to Tank Farm, same thing, almost $8 million mill and overlay there. That could shift. Isaac and Jake are talking about it, and you're going to hear why here in a second, okay? And I can almost promise you that will move, right? And it'll shift, it'll move out farther probably. Because, well, in 2031, mill and overlay locks to Becton. Estimated at $8.5 million. Big Goose Road, so we'll mill and overlay that. Then, the one that I've been talking about for years, nope, sorry, wrong slide, almost there. 14, Highway 14, it's on the delayed list right now, Dayton Main Street on up the hill, a little ways for 4.3, that's delayed. Then this one, 87, Coffeen South to the Bighorn Y. Widen mill and overlay, bridge replacement over the creek. Estimated cost $43 million. This is no longer delayed. It's going back in 2030, 2031, multiple season job, I'm sure. But 2030, it's going to be put into the STIP, okay? And that's why that 87 job will be delayed, because we don't want to be building this at the same time or mill and overlay that or vice versa. It'd just be too much mobility wise, right? So but we just got approval to put this into our STIP about a few weeks ago, a month ago maybe. And we are utilizing $30 million of the vehicle sales tax money for this project. And then we'll come up with the other 14 or 13 or 14 million within our STIP and balance. And that's where Isaac does his magic and figures out how to shift monies around the project. So,
Scott, this one did include the pathway still?
yep.
Okay.
Yep, Madam Chair, yeah, the pathway from the college to, remind me, Woodland or Fleming? Fleming Boulevard, yeah, so. And we have the right-of-way purchase for that. One thing we did put it in 2030 because we got to do a little bit of a redesign. It was almost on the shelf. But as you can see in that top right photo, we are going to design and build a roundabout at Bighorn Way. So, and that's why we had to go back and redo a little bit of the design back to our grading plans. So that's in the works.
Question, is that a done deal or is that subject to public comment and kicking it around some more?
Madam Chair, Commissioner, we did do a intersection study a few years ago on that. Spent the money to see what was the most feasible, what was the most preferred, and what was the safest route to go, whether it was a roundabout, signal, four-way stop, whatever. And the roundabout was the preferred alternative to move forward with. And we are going to move forward with that based off of that input that we got. And we will have more public meetings, informational, but this is something that is being designed and put into our plans right now. So to answer your question, yes.
It makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah, it looks like it will work really well. And I know there is some consternation out there, but as the study showed and was proven that this is the best route to go for the amount of traffic and the safety issues that you need to take care of out there.
Think about all those, as you go up to Shields and Billings, there's just a bunch, and all sorts of vehicles can navigate those. So I think it's just new things.
Right.
Are hard to.
Any other questions or comments on any of those projects? Wrapping up here, grant opportunities that we have. We do have a grant manager in Cheyenne. Let's do name here a little bit. Any kind of grants out there that are competitive federal grants, you can get guidance and documentation on from our office there. Highway safety, behavioral stuff, aeronautics, and local government transportation programs. So there's a lot of grants out there, and there's many towns and counties that are taking advantage of those. Yeah, we always want to take input on our STIP projects. You can go to our website, scan this QR code, and you click on one of those balloons, see all the information like I showed in the document, and more importantly, you can comment on any project in here too, and then we take that input. So I talked about our transit projects and our grants page already. There's our contacts. Mark Haynes, the Assistant Chief of Operations, Engineer of Operations. He's my supervisor. Brian Olson's the Assistant Chief Engineer of Engineering and Planning, which is basically the headquarters design programs. John Davis is that grants manager guru that I talked about. And he's the guy you can get a hold of there to talk about those. We have our state planning and engineer, who is highly involved with this stuff. And Brandy Miller is our new local government coordinator that will be coming around. I just got the notification last week. TAP site visits will be scheduled here at the end of April to May. The statement of interest went out last week, or no, March 1 till April 15th on any projects. And so I know we'll be seeing you guys on those again too. To learn more about our STIP, visit our website. There's a QR code. And with that, I will stand for any questions or comments or anything else that anybody's got.
God, I know there's a week left for the legislature. What has funding looked like for additional funding beyond snowplow operators and highway patrol?
For state employees, Madam Chair.
Yeah, but I mean, just generally for YDOT, are there any like project funding or?
No, not, the proposed revenue bills to help us out did not make it out of committee.
Okay.
At last I had known, I don't think there was anything correct, yeah. And so the sounds like, I don't know the details yet, but the compensation for state employees is going to, or has some good momentum, and I think it's gonna go, to bring everybody to the 2024 pay.
Right, great.
Sound pretty positive right now, so.
Okay. And I would share with folks too, I just had a chance to chat with Scott when we were down for the County Commissioners Association. Because we'd been unsuccessful twice with our TAP grant for that traffic study in Bighorn to address that bridge on Bird Farm Road specifically. And Scott had shared that it'd be absolutely okay for us to do our own traffic study and then use that to then apply for funds for the bridge. So when we get to budget season, if we had funds for something like that, I mean, it'd be worth looking at. And we can obviously apply a third time for TAP grants, but anyway, just food for that as we get into it. Any other questions for Scott?
Madam Chair.
Yeah. Commissioner Arce.
What I'm wondering about is the EV tax, the electronic vehicle tax, road tax that are, can you shed some light on whether or not they're gonna give them, their rebate, or are we gonna continue to charge them what actual road,
Madam Chair, Commissioner, that's a great question. I wish I could tell you. We'll check into that and get back with you, because unless Transportation Commissioner Holmes, I think it is, yeah. We still not sure how we want to administer that. I don't think so, but we'll find out and get back. I was writing it down right back there, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, thanks for coming today and giving us this presentation. Just for a clarification for myself, when you're talking about the budget overview and each of these projects, does the cost associated with that, is that just the construction cost, or does that include like personnel, or is that a different portion of the budget?
Madam Chair, Commissioner, yeah, it includes construction engineering, so our personnel out there, and inflation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
yeah,
you.
and this PE too, yeah, right, yeah, it's been a while since I did the STIP, but preliminary design too, yeah, preliminary engineering, yes.
Okay. And the current, if I understand that correctly, the current STIP plan is just on the website. How often is that updated?
Our STIP has many addendums to it. I know our commission just passed an addendum to it a couple weeks ago, whatever. But and it's a dynamic document that's ever changing because of addendums to it. And yearly, when we put it together, it might not look the same as it did the previous year, just because, like I said, that project we'd shift around and stuff like that. And depending what kind of budget numbers we get, which we should be receiving any day now. So Isaac can start working on STIP and balance, and that'll change every year too. Just depends on how much federal funding and state funding is available. So.
Well, I looked at that and read through it a couple of years ago, and so I'd like to look at it again. Would it be best to wait until that information is provided and it's updated in a couple of weeks, or is it going to change significantly?
Madam Chair, Commissioner, it won't change that much between now and October 1. Okay. You're not going to see a lot, but it changes a little, but not a lot. As far as what our funding levels are now for the rest of this fiscal year, that'll stay the same as what you see in the document now. Okay. Unless there's a huge addendum to a project or something that we got to go in and do something, but mostly it's probably going to stay the same until October 1. And then you can review the new document for when we start over.
Thank you.
You bet.
So how clean is Ryan Colby's shop with no snow to plow there?
Yeah.
Crazy winter.
Yeah. The mountains do have snow, so they've been up there.
Yeah.
They've been probably doing a little more than anybody else, correct, Dustin? Or Andrew, I don't know how much he does anyway. We can't figure that out. No, in fact, our snow budget is looking okay, right? But it's down definitely looked at differently because, okay, it's not snowing much, but we still are up there. We're not over it, but we still go out there and monitor our roads and, black ice we're taking care of all the time. And there's just those things that we still have, and we're putting down salt sand when we can. But it is under, but not as much as what people would probably think.
Madam Chair, in that same kind of line of questioning, on the years where you have less snow, are you able to take the amount of funds that are not expended for that and kind of put it back for years where we do have way more snow? Because obviously Wyoming, it's one year you get a lot, the next year you get hardly any.
Madam Chair, Commissioner, yes, some years we will have carryover or leftover, right? And we can utilize it for carrying over into the next year for any kind of budget items, or use it this year for, let's say, more equipment, more capital improvement projects, those type of things. And we can also take money that we have from our vacancies too, and do that type of stuff. And then our budget office will shift that around. As far as it going to projects, probably not, but it's going to be utilized more for the equipment / buildings and whatever our immediate need is right then, because our projects are already in the planning phase and we've already budgeted for those. So.
Other questions? No. Scott, thank you.
All right.
You and your team, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and with that, we are adjourned at 10:33.